Hello, everyone. Today is July 19th, 2026, and we have weather discussion 12. Um, Today and early next week, we are going to have some big days for severe weather. Looking at today, we have two slight risks, one in the Dakotas and Minnesota, and one in the mid-Atlantic and the parts of the southeast U.S. Tomorrow, we have a enhanced risk in the Midwest up to the UP of Michigan, all the way down to northwestern Illinois, and the slight risk is extending as far west as Omaha, Nebraska to much of Michigan. And then Tuesday, even bigger because we have 45% probabilities. Kentucky all the way up through central Pennsylvania, and another massive slight risk. There's going to be widespread severe weather and possible power outages. And then Wednesday, the Mid Atlantic, South Carolina, all the way up to Cape May, New Jersey, we have a slight risk of severe weather. Today, we're looking at a damaging wind threat, some scattered but prolific wind gusts over here in Montana and Wyoming and parts of northwest South Dakota. You have to here we have higher probabilities in this yellow, but as hatchers we'd see up to 75-mile-an-hour winds. And then out in North Carolina, uh, ooh, some of you in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Tropical Depression 2 is currently in the Gulf of Mexico, and you could be feeling some severe winds from those outer bands. And then damaging hail is possible up to tennis ball sized across North Dakota and north central South Dakota. Tomorrow is supposed to be a prolific event. If we look at the models, we can see a bowing segment just come through Wisconsin, Michigan, and leave other storms just fire off. Some possible supercells. These are tornado capable. All hazards are present tomorrow, especially if you're in Wisconsin. Um, a lot of damaging wind gusts. Damaging hail is supposed to be expected across much of that state. And through a line across, I'd say, Dubuque, Iowa, all the way to northeastern Wisconsin, significant tornadoes are possible. Tuesday, um, seems to be mostly damaging wind threat. If you look at the discussion, it says that supercells are possible along with all hazards, but also multiple bowing segments. So you probably see, yeah, swaths of damaging wind gusts are of primary concern during the afternoon and nighttime hours. Yeah, you probably see some supercells with the first storms that arrive in the afternoon. Seems like a very large storm mode in terms of geographic scale. You see storms just everywhere with the NamNest model. And then similar thing, I'd say, on Wednesday, coming off from the original system. Just damaging winds, per usual. Now, on to Jay. Jay, Tropical Depression 2, what do you have for us?
So Tropical Depression 2, very clearly rapidly organized last night. Became a tropical depression. They officially designated it at 10, but I'm pretty sure it's tropical well before 10. But National Hurricane Center has pretty high hopes for the system. Want a strong tropical storm. They're going with the European model here. Quite aggressive. So we have tropical storm watches in effect for the Florida coast. I kind of see the memo here. Still don't get why they haven't extended those watches, but there also are tropical storm warnings in effect for coastal waters. So tropical depression 2 will continue to organize as it approaches the southeastern Louisiana coast early Wednesday morning as a supposedly high-end tropical storm.
Yeah, as you could see, we could just go back 3 days ago. Literally nothing there. And you start to have convection just swirl around the low pressure system that started to form, yeah, around 1 a.m. on July 17, and then It became an MCV. It started swirling around and actually looking very good. And then it started to meander west and then back down to the south as convection started to get more disorganized and widen off. But then, as the hours progressed, it started losing convection as the diurnal cycle was kind of screwing it over. But as you can see, um, we had possible competing centers, but then we finally got our hands on an organized level of circulation as it finally continues to swirl around and get better as day goes on. So you can see here, the official cone of uncertainty shows a strong tropical storm landfall expected in southeastern Louisiana. It progresses across the Louisiana coast, and at the end of the forecast era, Friday 7 a.m., it's supposed to make landfall somewhere southeast Texas between Galveston and Beaumont, Port Arthur. Jay, on to the
Wait,
Pacific.
before
Yes.
we go on to the Pacific, I do want to mention hurricane hunters are in tropical depression too, and
Oh
they
yes.
have about winds of 34 knots, which would um be a tropical storm. I don't know if Florida does things differently though, cause I was told that they subtract the some winds because Florida is above sea level, but recon data would support a tropical storm for strength depression, but that's I don't know. We can go into the Pacific.
All right. Um, Lida. So, oh my goodness, I have a hair in my mouth.
Oh my god.
Elida somehow staying alive this far north. It looks like it's finally transitioning to a post-tropical cyclone. I'd reckon. Let's go look at the map here. Okay, west of Baja California. Yeah, it's going to continue pushing north. Could bring some moisture to Western California. If some of you like rain and want it in the summer, well, this could be your opportunity. Um, Elida is expected to stay tropical until tomorrow evening and finally become a post-tropical cyclone and dissipate as it loses all convection. It actually kept an impressive appearance in the past 36, 48 hours, especially over unfavorably cold waters. It has reached the ceiling of its strength, and it's following the ceiling now, but it has kept well expectations for everyone. Fausto. Um, Jay, what do you have to say about, well, Tropical Tidbits does say it's Fausto. I
Oh,
don't know if it's been
cyclone
officially
too.
named yet.
Cyclonic weather too.
Oh, well, I guess it's Fausto now.
Well, actually, so advisories come out within the next hour or so. So Fausto might be named by 3:32 p.m. Central Daylight Time, maybe. Cause sometimes the National Hurricane Center likes to do things early, like they did with um tropical depression two in the Gulf. Cause depression two's pressure came down to 1010, and its observed winds I think are 39 miles per hour, which will be rounded to 40. So we could have a tropical storm in the Gulf. We'll see what recon finds, and because they're taking another dive into the center of the storm, but Fausto kind of still looks messy.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely still has some sort of monsoonal structure left over. I mean, it's located 12 degrees north, so who's surprised? Let's be honest. But it will get better for sure once it heads more west and off the influence of the intertropical convergence zone. In fact, National Hurricane Center predicts Fausto to peak at 110 miles an hour in just 3 days from now, exactly 72 hours from now. Very fast, rapid intensification. Uh, yeah, significant strengthening should occur this cyclone before coming hurricane by late Monday, early Tuesday. The official, yeah, ship solution, yeah. And if we go take a look at DeepMind, oh come on, ah, I'm on incognito mode. It's fine. They did mention DeepMind in here though. Uh, yeah, DeepMind has been pretty reliable with the forecast of Fausto, and it has some pretty high hopes for the system as well. Lida, on the other hand, yeah, that didn't go exactly as planned. I mean, just look at the thing. It's supposed to be a Category 2, and it didn't even break hurricane status. Well, I think this will be our first hurricane of the season. This is expected to be a very active Pacific season, and it's July 19 that we're finally breaking hurricane ground. Anything else to mention, Jay?
Um, the flash flood threat.
Ah,
The
Tropical Depression 2?
yeah. See, about for the next 4 days, the Weather Prediction Center has a day one marginal, a marginal risk day 1 through 5 for pretty much the risk area for tropical depression 2, southeast of East is under a marginal from day 1 to day 5. A marginal, maybe a slight, maybe even moderate risk upgrade could come, especially because of urban areas, and it's expected to dump at least 10, not 10, 8, maybe even higher amounts up to 10 inches of rain in some areas. So the flash flood threat would need to be monitored. This would probably be a flood maker more than a damaging wind maker, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see.
Yeah, feel like Arthur is gonna be worse than what this storm, which is poised to be named Bertha, is going to be. Because Arthur, man, dumped 28 inches of rain over Avoyelles Parish, Louisiana, dropped a bunch of tornadoes, really screwed up Huma.
Oh, good
Or,
job. You pronounced it correct.
yes, I think oh, yeah, I think I got Huma correctly, didn't I? Uh-oh, I didn't.
It's
Well,
Homer.
Homa. Okay, there we go. I can't pronounce these French names for the life of me. Um, Arthur caused approximately $1 billion in damage. Uh, dropped a lot of tornadoes, but Bertha is more on the tamer side. It seems like it's gonna produce more widespread areas of damaging wind, but the floods are going to be less prolific as it is already even dealing with dry air. Dry air is intruding into the center from a streak, kind of this right here, going from see a hole in the west side of the storm. That's dry air. It's preventing convection from forming and is going to be a problem for its strengthening regime for I'd say at least 36 hours. Anything else to note?
Not at the moment. Um, Hurricane hunters are diving back into the eye. So the first time they went in the center, not eye center, they found central a minimal central pressure of 10,010 millibars. European model has this at 1009. So if they find 1009, well, it's dropped by 2 millibars because it's 1011, I think. That's all for the Gulf of Mexico, though.
All right. Thank you everybody for watching this briefing. We'll be back tomorrow with what we assume to be um,
It
this
should be done.
to be named Bertha. Yeah, it should be by then, and also the severe weather up north. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.